Hey everybody, we've got a great video for you today because I am joined by Alex from Auto Buyer's Guide. He's one of the premier automotive YouTube channels. And Alex, what are we in?
We are in a Mustang GT, the 2024.
Yeah, that's right. This is what they're calling an all-new 7th generation of the Mustang GT, and we've got this...
7th
Okay,
generation.
We'll talk about it in a sec here. We've got this beautiful winding road out here in California, and we're gonna see how this thing drives and what it's like. So let me give a honk to the producer, let him know we're ready.
There we go.
And we're gonna make our way up the mountain. So Alex, tell me a little bit about this 7th generation of car. Why did you give it air quotes?
Yeah, I was curious why Ford decided to call it 7th generation. Basically what they did was they took the previous generation, the independent suspension Mustang, which I think is fantastic, and they tweaked a lot of stuff. Not everything, but a lot of things. And they claim that those combined tweaks are enough to call this a different generation.
Now, I have talked to the engineer behind this car for quite an extensive amount of time, and she claims because they have changed the engine and they've changed the brakes and tweaked the suspension and all of that, and they changed the interior, that this car is an all-new generation. They're very adamant about that.
Very adamant, yeah.
Let us know what you think in the comment section below, because style-wise, it's pretty similar, just more squared off to the old one.
And I'm fine with that. And for me, the generation thing is more of an under-the-skin question. And under the skin, it appears that the suspension is largely the same, if not identical to the previous model. That is where I am scratching my head a bit.
No, I understand. But let's talk a little bit about the engine powering this new 24 GT. What are we looking at?
5-liter V8, 480 horsepower, or 486 if we get the performance exhaust. This one has that performance exhaust, of course. So you're getting the extra ponies.
We are getting the extra ponies, that's right, my friend. And the power band out of this 5-liter is just incredible, and it revs unbelievably high.
It does. And I love the sound. I always see are you in the track mode now or in sport mode?
No, I've got a sport mode. We have active exhaust on this car too, so depending on which mode, it's actually going to change the tone of the exhaust. And that engine note is just glorious.
And that is the entire reason to get this over the Supra, over the Z, which are honestly are direct competitors, and they're the only direct competitors I would say now, because Charger, Challenger, and Camaro are dead this year.
Yeah, they're dead. Now, from a power standpoint, right, the fact that they can squeeze 480 horsepower out of a naturally aspirated V8 is pretty bonkers.
That's because that 7,500 RPM redline.
Yeah, which is just huge. Let me tone down the exhaust a little bit.
So let's tone down the exhaust here. We'll go to the quiet mode. Let's see how that sounds. And quiet mode is still not really that quiet. This is not like Mercedes quiet, which really, really damps things down. There's still a pretty decent growl at full throttle.
But what I love about this engine is you can pull well into the 6,000-7,000 RPM region. And unlike a lot of older V8s, especially the old pushrod stuff that would die off in those RPMs, this thing is just more and more willing to provide power.
And of course, you have to ring it up that high because it's not turbocharged, so that power delivery profile's pretty different versus the 2.3-liter EcoBoost, which is all turbo all the time, a little bit laggy, but definitely lots of low-end torque, and you don't have to rev it that high to get all the oomph.
Now let's talk a little bit about the chassis. So the car we're in today has the Performance Pack. It's like a $3,500 upgrade, but it includes some things like the massive 6-piston Brembo brakes.
Yeah, worth it. Brembo brakes are worth it, and the limited slip diff in the back, absolutely essential in my mind for this much power. You can get the GT without it. I just don't know why you would.
You gotta get the limited slip in the rear. No, 100%. It's a really big deal putting all these ponies down to the ground. And then this car also has a Magnerized suspension, so it's got the variable damping rates, right?
Yeah, variable damping rates, but I am a little bit disappointed because Ford does not allow you to mix and match the various different configurable options in the vehicle like you can get in an AMG or an M. I know it's weird for some folks to be making AMG and M comparisons, but what else are we going to compare to? But so you can't combine, say, medium suspension tune with aggressive track exhaust and this and that and the other. It's a little bit more limited than that.
So let's talk a little bit about the handling dynamics on this car. You feel the mass. There's no way around it. What's the curb weight on this car?
I actually don't remember what the curb weight is, but it is not low. This is not some slinky sports coupe. But it's not really a classic American muscle car either, because this can go around a corner.
Yeah, so, in comparison to cars like the Dodge Challenger, which is just a boat when you get it out in the canyons. This car is fun to drive, you know, and it is dynamic, and the steering actually provides quite a bit of feedback as well. I really like the weighting of the steering.
This reminds me a lot of V8 M cars from a while ago.
Yeah, I agree. But I will say, even with this performance package, these 275 P0 summer tires, it's not enough tire on this car. I would say we're well within the speed limit, of course, but we're probably pushing this car at 6-7 tenths, and there are instances where we are starting to get a little bit of understeer, quite a bit of lift-off oversteer, and this is a tail-happy car.
It is a tail-happy car, but that's the whole fun of it. That's the personality coming through. You can push it a lot further than I would normally push things and have a lot of fun, but I am curious to see what kind of tires you can put in this if you want to upgrade the tires yourself. Does Dark Horse have wider tires?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if Dark Horse does. And Dark Horse,
next week.
Dark Horse, yeah, driving it next week. Dark Horse is a really interesting car because that's bridging the gap between what we'd consider the standard line GT and then a Shelby performance equipped model.
Exactly.
Which is pretty neat. But let's talk a little bit more about this GT, right? So you can get it in both coupe and convertible. Now, I did have spend some time behind the wheel of the convertible. From a performance driving standpoint, you want the coupe.
Oh, we ran out of road.
We ran out of road here. All right, we'll flip around. You gotta get the coupe if you want the performance spec, and I'll talk about that why in a sec. Let me move the camera a little bit, and we'll finish this drive. All right, everybody. So I'm here in the Mustang EcoBoost with Chelsea, and Chelsea is a pro drifter. Chelsea, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I've been driving for about 20 years now, quite a while, and been instructing and teaching for about 10 or so.
Yeah, he's being a little modest. He's actually a champion in this industry.
I've won some events for sure. It's been fun. I'm excited to basically be able to share what I've learned over 20 years with everyone that comes out for this Ford experience.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate your help, and we're going to be playing with the drift brake today, and we'll kind of do it a couple times really badly, and then hopefully do it a couple times less badly with your help.
That's the goal.
Sweet.
I like how you word that.
All right.
Okay,
we'll give it a go.
So we'll go ahead and drop it in manual.
Yep.
Which I'll just leave it in one. Don't worry about shifting. The gearing is perfect for this whole track.
Yep, sounds good.
You're going to pull up to those start cones and then take off from there. And if you'll notice those 3 cones on track right, that's where the drift brake is supposed to be engaged. And then you'll come around and do the same thing, and there's 4 cones on this one to put it into that box on the ground.
All right.
And
I really
I'll instruct
appreciate
you
it.
as you go.
Okay, you can keep your eyes closed for this first one. That would be just fine. All right, here we go. So, this Ford Mustang EcoBoost has a drift brake as an option, which essentially locks up the rear wheels and then allows you to initiate a drift. And they set up a little course to have us attempt it. Okay, over-rotated that just a little bit, but that's kind of the idea. So you pull up hard on that drift brake, and it's an electromechanical system, which then helps kind of engage. Wow, that's much harder than it looks like. What the hell? So, Chelsea, quick question for you.
Yep.
So how does this work? So when I engage the drift brake, is it like a switch that engages an electronic parking brake on the rear axle? Is that basically the essence of it?
So basically it will use the ABS to be able to push the rear brakes. So it's utilizing the electronics in the car to lock the rear brakes.
And then does it disconnect the drive line from the rear axle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And it actually allows it to keep it in the power pretty well. So my only advice for this first one, you did great on the entry. You just held the handbrake for about twice as long as you were supposed to, which is fine. That's great for the first one.
Okay,
And
yep.
That's kind of why you had that little over rotation.
Sweet.
So just cut the handbrake usage down, let's say 30% this time.
Yep.
And then in this one, you just pulled it a little bit late.
Okay.
So, same
Gotcha.
thing. Go
All right,
for it.
really appreciate it. So I'm going to try this again. Pulling up to the start cones here. This is actually pretty cool. Pretty fun. Okay, that was a little better.
That time, first turn was good.
Yep.
That was a little too little handbrake. brake. So a
Okay.
little bit more this time on the drift brake. Split the difference of the two, and I think it'll be perfect.
So is it torque variable, or is it like an on and off switch?
It is torque variable,
Oh,
so
okay.
depending on how you pull it. So you want to pull it fast, not necessarily hard. So you pull it fast and hold it,
Gotcha.
and then let go.
And when you're trying to get in the box, are you using the foot brake at all to stop
So
the momentum?
I only use the foot brake if I'm going to overshoot. So I
Okay,
use
so-
the handbrake to rotate it in and get set, and if it's great, I don't ever touch the foot brake.
So if I was good at this, I could do this without ever using the foot brake.
Well, I think the foot brake just means you went in a little fast, so sometimes it looks better when you do that. So as long as you get it rotated in and you're going to get into the box, then press the brake and you'll be good.
Cool.
But don't touch the brake till you're in the box.
All right, really appreciate it.
go
Yep,
for
thank
it.
you. All right, last one here. Let's see how this last one goes. Come on, Micah. Full throttle on the EcoBoost, a little bit of turbo lag. Little too much there, a little too much. All right, I need another 2 miles an hour. Hey, got it. Well, a big thank you to Chelsea and the RTR folks for their help here. Totally messed up that first one, but all in good fun. I gotta say that is really impressive how easy that is. You know, I have the upper body strength of a string bean, and even I can pull the handbrake with enough gusto to kind of get you around.
Drift brake's pretty good.
It's amazing. It's really cool. Thank you,
It was really
dude.
fun developing it.
I really appreciate
You
your
did a
help.
fantastic job. You were in the box perfect on the last one.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll ignore the first part, but the box is good.
That's okay. You did a donut. It's a little extra spice there. Perfect.
Thanks, dude. Alright guys, so now I'm here with Sophian Bay from Redline Reviews.
Hey Tommy, thanks for having me.
Sophian's got a little bit of his voice lost. He's been too excited about the Mustang. And we're gonna run a quick impromptu 0 to 60 on this car. Now we switched cars. We're in an automatic 10-speed convertible. This car weighs about 3,991 pounds. It's not gonna be the quickest spec.
Yeah, it's a little heavier, about 100 pounds heavier than the coupe.
Yep, so 100 pounds heavier than the coupe. Into drive, we're in drag strip mode, straight road, and we're just gonna plant it. In 3, 2, 1, full throttle. Good grip right off the line. Fast shift in the second, hard shift in the third.
All right,
What'd you get?
I got 4.75.
Mine is set up wrong. So we'll do it one more time. But your GPS timer said 4.75 to 60. Now, of course, we are on an unprepped surface here, a 60 mile an hour speed limit. We're just seeing how this car accelerates on a standard road. All right, try this again. So now I'm gonna use a little bit of brake torque, still in drag strip mode. Is yours ready to go?
Yeah, mine's ready.
All right, mine is ready, not yet. Now, in 3, 2, 1, go. Good grip, these tires grip well. Second gear. All right, what'd you get?
4.64.
My timer's a little more pessimistic, 5.05, 237 feet.
Yeah, I don't know which one should we take, Tommy.
Well, I tend to go with the pessimistic one, but anywhere between 4.5 and 5 seconds 0 to 60 real world in the Mustang GT. So I'll let you do your video now. Maybe you can get it a little bit quicker, and hopefully your voice holds out for the next 5 seconds.
Hopefully.
Oh my gosh, Sophia, you poor thing. So figure convertible Mustang, we're at sea level here in LA, right around 4.5 to 5 seconds 0 to 60. And probably a little quicker on a prep surface. Not bad. So Alex, convertible versus coupe, what does the convertible cost extra?
It depends on the model you're looking at, which is surprising. So, and it's some of this is a little bit difficult to divine in Ford's pricing lineup. But if we're talking GT, it's about $5,000 more than the comparable coupe. Bearing in mind, you cannot get a base convertible in the GT lineup. You have to get the premium.
Yeah, which is, you know, a fairly significant amount of change.
Yeah.
Now, if you need to
51.5, I think.
Yeah, if you need to transport passengers, you have to get the convertible.
Yes.
Primarily due to headroom. So even with the top up on the convertible, you get way more headroom than you get in this this coupe trim, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, which is kind of unusual actually for convertibles. A lot of convertibles, you get more room in the coupe. Not the case here.
Now, from a dynamic standpoint, I felt the convertible to be a little squidgy.
Yeah, I think I mean, they've worked on that over time. It's not 1990s Fox body wet noodle.
No, but it's not firm noodle. It's not
No.
crispy. It's an al dente noodle.
Yeah, so this is not Alpha 4C, going on there, which I think is good because it's the personality thing, right? That's more of a GT thing. I mean, it's in the name, right? Mustang GT.
Right.
So the more GT car, actually, of the GTs, I think, is the convertible.
Yeah, 100%. Other things worth noting, you can get the GT in both manual and automatic configuration. The manual transmission is brilliant. The throws are perfect. I find the clutch pickup to be perfect.
And what do you think about this versus the Tremec that's going to be in the Dark Horse? I do like me a Tremec.
I do like a Tremec, that's right. And, I'm also curious about longevity and the tuning ability of these cars.
Back when you could get the Jet-Track and the Tremec in more or less the same generation Mustang, and I drove them back to back, I preferred the Tremec, and I wonder if that's going to be the case this time.
We'll have to wait and see on that car. But just having this car in a bubble, the throws are perfect, the clutch is perfect.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great one. It doesn't feel tractory like some generations of Mustang have felt.
Right, yeah, 100%. Like you go to the SZ95, it's like you're driving a tugboat.
Yeah.
Now, from a tunability standpoint, Ford has really transformed the electrical architecture of this car, and they've integrated a lot of the systems together from a computer standpoint. And what that means is that A, they can over-the-air update a lot more systems than they could on the old one. B, they say it's more secure, but the result of that is, from what I've read online, the tuning community is going to struggle a little bit more into hacking into.
That's going to be a big problem.
More performance in this car.
Yeah. And some of that will depend on what exactly Ford chooses to do. Are they going to brick your car because you fiddled with it? Are they going to know and invalidate your warranty, etc.? Lots of open-ended questions. I would say it's a little bit less of a thing for the V8 because just software is not going to get you quite as much as on the EcoBoost. That EcoBoost, you can play with all sorts of profiles and boost that puppy, off the surface of the planet. I don't know if that's going to be possible.
Now, Alex, I like the way this car drives. I find the handling to be very progressive. I feel it to be very predictable at the limit.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other toys in here, like the drift brake, which is available, which you can lock up the rear wheels using this electronically assisted brake.
Let's not do that on this road.
Not now. No, we're not going to do that now, but you can do that at the track. Yeah, exactly right. And there's line lock, and there's all sorts of different modes and settings that you can engage in this car. But here's the rub. Is it different enough than the 550? Ford claims it's an all-new car, adamantly. You gave air quotations. Don't blame me for those, Alex. But
that's my air quotes. Yeah.
What do you think, Alex? Is it different enough?
I think it's enough to be that progressive improvement over the previous Mustang. It's not a clean sheet design. It's not a world away, but it didn't need to be. The previous Mustang was honestly pretty good. I like the look. I like the changes in here. Every change except for the deletion of the manual transmission on the EcoBoost, I'm good with.
And the price on this particular spec?
This particular spec, we don't have an official number for this model, but it's about 61. Seems to be somewhere around this model. But you could get the coupe with the performance package and the Highline interior package for $51,000, and that's probably where I would stop.
I agree. Or go for the Autocross spec 2.3 EcoBoost with the performance package and really enjoy that car to its capability on an Autocross.
True.
But overall, guys, I'm impressed with the 650 Mustang. I think that it's a very nice set of improvements, especially with this interior over the 550, and it's a great car to drive. I think with some tweaks to tires, especially, and as long as you get the coupe, this could be a really fun canyon car. Yeah, I really want to know if we could put 295s back there. Let us know. Someone's going to do it. Someone's going to try first day. Yeah. Will it need fender flares? Are you going to need to roll them or something? I'm curious. Let's find out. Let us know in the comment section below when you guys start getting yours. But Alex, where can folks find your videos? They can find us over at Auto Buyer's Guide on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all those sorts of things. And of course, we're at alltfl.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Except for the TFL floats. No TFL floats. Man, you're pushing hard for floats. Pushing hard for TFL floats. We need a TFL boat channel. Do it. We'll work on it.